Smackdown has gone off the air. Welcome to the Cerebral Smack Talk on YouTube and StreamYard.com. The show just now ended. What's going on? Good old MMF, Michael Fletcher, Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock. We're all here. We're going to recap it right here, right now. But before we do, we actually got some business to tend to. We got some AEW Rampage. Yes, Rampage actually started earlier tonight because of the NBA playing game. Right now, a really good matchup right now between the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The game is going on right now as we speak, and immediately following that game is the Western Conference game, which is the New Orleans Pelicans versus the LA Clippers from the Staples Center in LA. That game's to be tipping off in about 10 minutes or so. So we got that. However, we're talking about AEW Rampage, and we started it off with a six-man tag team fight, as it was the Gun Club going up against Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 907 was Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. They upended the Gun Club. Good match. Solid fight. I would say about 3 stars. And hey, a good victory for the Blackpool Combat Club. Now Wheeler Yuta's a part of the crew, and they looked really good. So, I mean, it was a solid performance. Good body of work on everybody's involvement. So, Anthony Floyer, I'll give it to you. Solid opener for this AEW Rampage.
Indeed it was. I mean, what a way to start off this special earlier edition of AEW Rampage this evening. And I'm glad they did it this way. I mean, let me just find my... All right, here we go. What do I have? All right. Okay, come on. All right. Fun and energetic 6-man tag that got the crowd in the right mindset. It was not a match of the year candidate or anything of that nature, but it was a fun first outing for Wheeler Yuta as a member of the Blackpool Combat Club. I would probably give this probably about 3 stars or so for the effort. And you noticed each member of the Blackpool Combat Club had a separate entrance. And it was interesting to see Regal specifically come out during Yuta's entrance, even though he's there for the whole team. And Billy Gunn used to feel like an average size wrestler back in the 90s. It's kind of funny to see him be significantly more muscular than everyone else in this match. A lot has changed over the last quarter century. And Danielson sent Austin Gunn into the middle turnbuckle with a drop toe hold at one point. The way Austin sold the hit was similar to how Shawn Michaels sold for Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam 2005. And Regal, great at putting over guys from the announce table. But solid 3-star match for me, maybe 3 1/4 at best, but I think 3 is the appropriate rating for this one. So solid first outing for the now 3-man unit known as the Blackpool Combat Club. And not much more to say. Phenom Michael Bullock, come on in. Just fresh off another one of our legendary Smackdown chats as always, and we'll get into the fun we had during that later. But for right now, with this AEW Rampage, solid way to start off. And let me tell you, this Blackpool Combat Club, oh boy, these guys, ooh, they are going to be a very tough out.
Oh yeah, they're going to be a very tough out. I mean, already with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, and now you add Wheeler Yuta to the mix. My oh my! I mean, this could be a force to be reckoned with here. So, yeah. So 3 stars is my rating. I mean, it was a good first impression for the for Wheeler Yuta as part of that club. I mean, Yeah, so I think only things can only get better for this trio. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out. So there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move on, Fletch.
Then we had the Butcher against a random opponent. He crushed them in 55 seconds. We're not going to get into that. Then we had the women's Owen Hart tournament qualifier match, as it was Ruby Soho going up against Robin Renegade. It was Ruby Soho. She advances in 8 minutes and 26 seconds. Anthony, the outcome was never in doubt, but give it up for the match and how it played out. And there was a little bit of a moment where we had a little bit of you could say a little twin magic going, where Robin's twin sister Charlotte tried to get in and almost stole the fight on Ruby Soho.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God is right, because we saw that the first time, and we've seen this. We've seen, and I'm calling gimmick infringement, and you know why?
I agree.
Because we know who originated that.
We know who originated that. We know who started that.
The Hall of Famers.
Yep.
The Bellas. So when I hear those words, the first ones you automatically think of are Nikki and Brie Bella, like them or not. Yeah. But anyways, Robin Renegade has worked 3 matches. She had only worked 3 matches for AEW prior to this, but she has yet to win a match. She's now 0-4, counting this match tonight. She's an unsigned talent who has been seen in other places recently, like Terminus, so she's starting to pick up some steam in her career. She and Soho had a competitive bout that was physical from the moment it began. As soon as Renegade nailed Soho with the kick to the face in the corner, it became clear this would not just be a friendly exchange of technical maneuvers. The Runaway was trying to make a comeback all throughout the break. After it looked like Soho had the upper hand, Robin's twin sister Charlotte sneakily took her place in the bout. The ruse almost worked, but Soho was able to score the win in the end, earning herself a spot in the Women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament in the process. And the way Renegade trapped Soho's head against the turnbuckle and pushed her up into a headstand so she could hit a kick was a nice spot. And Renegade needs to sit down a lot lower if she wants her camel clutch to be effective. And Renegade might not have as much of a punk look as Soho, but their aesthetics and in-ring styles are close enough that they might make a fun tag team if Robin didn't already have a natural partner with her sister. And the twin magic spot not working as it was supposed to made Soho look good. I'll give this in excess of 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Renegades tried twin magic, but let's be realistic. They're nowhere as close as the Bellas were to perfecting that.
Nobody will ever top the Bellas with that whole twin magic thing. I mean, any others can try, but I just don't think it will be as successful as they can pull it off. So, what did you give it, Florio?
I gave it 2.5 to 2 3/4.
Yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating. I mean, to me, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, I think we all knew that Ruby Soho was going to move on in this tournament. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
2.5 stars, definitely agreed. It could have been a lot more better, but it was fine. I enjoyed it. I think the body of work was fine. And, yeah, it was good. It was good. So I don't mind it. I enjoy it. And, yeah. So good job. Great matchup. And, well, I could say solid matchup more than anything else. And I can't wait to see how it goes. So, yeah, excellent matchup. Good for what it was worth. Now we get into the main event. This was the big one, guys. The AEW World Heavyweight title on the line for the first time on Rampage in a Texas death match. The champion, Hangman Adam Page, putting the title on the line against Adam Cole, the winner. And still the AEW World Champion, the Hangman Adam Page, 20 minutes and 12 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Man, what a match this was. I mean, this was everything what you would expect in a Texas death match here, and I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. I mean, what a match this turned out to be. I mean, we saw everything, but what about that spot where Hangman Adam Page basically tossed Adam Cole right onto that the edge of those chairs? I mean, oh man, that I'll tell you this, guys. I don't care how tough you are. That has to freaking hurt your back, no matter what. I mean, that's just unreal. I mean, but the real coup de grace from this was what Adam Hangman Page did with that damn barbed wire that he put on Adam Cole's head and put him right through the table. I mean, if that's not freaking hardcore, someone tell me what is. But oh my, what a match! Yeah, Hangman Page may have won, but boy howdy, Cole really gave him a run for his money. So 4.5 stars. I mean, Fletch. I mean, this was just downright insane. I mean, especially that spot where Cole's back hit the edge of those chairs. Woo!
This is a match that's gonna shorten both men's careers, and it's exactly what it needed it to be. If this was the blow off, this was the perfect way to end it. Adam Cole and Hangman Adam Page had a hell of a match, a brawl, a fight, and a battle for the richest prize in the industry, for the All Elite Wrestling World Title, and it was meant to be this way. Incredible match. I can't go 4.5. I think it's a little bit of a disagreement. I'll go 4.25. I think it was an excellent match, but I think 4.5 might be a little bit of a reach. I know where you're going with it, but like you're absolutely right. And I probably think Floyo's gonna go with you with the 4.5. I know he probably will. But I'm going 4.25 because, like I said, there was a lot of great action. There was a lot of great spots. And there was a lot of things that made a lot of sense. There was a couple of moments where I kind of was like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of questioned it, but I'm not questioning the outcome or how it played out. This was an amazing fight, an amazing war, and a championship battle that I think a lot of people will respect. Adam Cole earned the respect of a lot of fans in the losing effort, but this was not the time to take the belt off Adam Page. This was not the moment, not the right time to do it. So for me, they made the right decision by keeping the belt on Page. Page deserves the run to be a little while longer. Even though CM Punk looks like he's the next guy possibly fighting for the title, and there's even rumors that it could be Punk that's going to dethrone Adam Hangman Page, which would make Adam Page's run the shortest title reign in AEW history. I hope that's not the case, but that is the rumor. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
I'll elaborate. I'll expand on what MF just said in just a moment, where as far as Punk goes. But the main event of the evening was arguably the biggest match in Rampage's short history. Hangman putting the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on the line against Adam Cole in this Texas death match. And both men introduced chairs to the ring before the bell even rang. So this was never going to be a match with a lot of what you would call technical wrestling or traditional wrestling. It was a fight with some regular spots mixed in along the way. They used tables, chairs, steel steps, the barricade, a chain, and anything else they could find near the ring to hurt each other. Both men were bruised and bloody before we were at the halfway point, but they never let up. After hitting the buckshot lariat, Page tied Cole to the top rope with his belt and retrieved a chair covered with barbed wire. However, he opted not to use it and tried to win by more honorable means. Cole made him pay for that decision with a low blow and a couple of super kicks. And Page wrapped his arm in barbed wire and used it as a weapon before he put Cole through a table with a dead eye. And Cole was unable to get to his feet by the 10 count, so Hangman retained. Great match with tons of memorable moments, and they clearly left room for them to top this with a future encounter. And Adam Cole gave what might be his best promo since joining AEW in the usual pre-match interview with Mark Henry. It was short and sweet, but it still got his point across perfectly. Cole using a chain to deliver the closest thing to a literal clothesline in pro wrestling was a fun spot. And the spot where Hangman hit a fireman's carry slam on the 2 upright chairs looks so painful. And it seems like such an unnecessarily dangerous spot for Cole to take. And it's not even the first time he has done a spot like that. And Page throwing Cole from the top turnbuckle onto a pile of chairs with an overhead suplex was brutal. The face Cole made after it showed real pain. And I'm going to meet you guys in the middle. I'm going to give this between 4.25 to 4.5. That's where I was leaning towards anyways. It is the fight of the night, and the biggest match in AEW Rampage's short history damn sure lived up to the hype. And I could probably say this was the greatest match in Rampage history to this point. Even just a smidgen better than the previous greatest, which we saw a week ago with Moxley and Yuta. What a match those two turned out. So 4.25, 4.5. Now, as far as the Punk thing goes, I mean, I'm with you guys. I would love to see Hangman get a nice run with it, but I hate to say it, MF, but I think CM Punk will dethrone the Hangman, and I think it's going to happen at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas Memorial Day weekend. You heard it here first.
Yeah, so that was the thing that I was hearing too. Apparently, Tony Khan is very high on CM Punk, and it looks like this is kind of the direction that they were thinking of going, is giving Punk the championship. So yeah, apparently it looks like the title is yeah. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. So 4.25 to 4.5 for me. It is the fight of the night. And like I said, I think Hangman's going to enjoy it for another month and a half. But like I said, come Memorial Day weekend, I think his fairy tale run will end at the hands of one CM Punk in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena at Double or Nothing. So with that, let's get into the overall review for this a very rare live edition of Rampage.
7.5 out of 10 for me. It was a solid show. Look, of course, obviously, there was a really good opener with the Blackpool Combat Club. I enjoyed that. The Ruby Soho versus Robin Renegade was all right. It was pretty good. The main event was amazing, but there was a match that was there in the middle that we really didn't need to do with, which was the Butcher and what he did. I think that was kind of it is what it is. So 7.5 to 8. Anthony, it's yours.
It's 7.5, and I agree with everything MF just said. The main event definitely stole the dang show. You can make an argument that is now the greatest match in the short history of Rampage. And I don't know if any other match is going to even come remotely close to topping it in the future, but we'll see. Unless they do some more live shows in the future. The opener was the second best fight of the night. Soho and Renegade had a solid match. I very, very much could have done without the Butcher squash, that delicious squash. And you take that away, we probably would have been talking maybe 8.5, but 7.5 to 8, mainly because of the Butcher squash. But it was still a great show, and there's nothing more to say except Michael Bullock. I mean, the biggest match in Rampage history, damn sure lived up to the hype, and is one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why we're giving this show 7.5 to 8 tonight.
Yeah, it's because of that main event. This is why we're giving this edition of Rampage a 7.5 to 8. I mean, it was a very good show. I mean, obviously, the main event stole the damn show. the 6-man tag was the second best fight of the night. I mean, yeah, I could have done without that butcher squash match and that Owen Hart women's tournament match. I thought was good as well. So 7.5 to 8. So Fletch, let's get on to Friday Night SmackDown.
All right, and we started off with a promo by RK Bro, and they actually did got interrupted by the Usos, and here it is, guys. They basically laid down the challenge. Basically, RK Bros like, you know what? We want to do this. You want to unify the belts? Let's go for it. Let's get a battle. Let's do something and try to get this to happen. Well, WWE officials have made the official announcement. Gentlemen, we are getting it, and history will be made in Providence, Rhode Island. It is official. Mother's Day night, Sunday night, May 8th, Dunkin' Donuts Center, Providence, Rhode Island. The WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro, versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Winner take all, unification. Somebody is walking out the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions of the world.
In the immoral words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, oh, hell yeah!
So this was a good segment. I love Randy Orton's fire in this promo. He got the fans in Worcester at the DCU Center, aka the Worcester Centrum. He got them all fired up. Orton was the MVP of this entire segment. Orton made this segment what it needed it to be. Especially how the Usos were getting all clouded. How they were like, you're in our territory. You're in our house. You're in this. You're in that. Oh, no. Randy Orton was not having any of that. He basically laid it out, basically saying who the heck he was. And the fans were on his side. Randy Orton is the most over guy in WWE right now. Man, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Anthony Florio, like I said, solid segment, but the reason why was because the Apex Predator went Viper tonight.
Including a That's Not PG moment as well.
Oh, yeah. He had a couple of not so PG moments.
Oh, yeah. A red hot promo segment kicked off tonight's show as RK Bro popped the crowd only for the Usos to interrupt. A verbal confrontation between the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions featured some extraordinary work from a fired-up Randy Orton and a typically fluid promo from Jimmy and Jey Uso before culminating with the latter accepting RK Bro's challenge for a championship unification match. Like MF said, Randy Orton brought so much energy here, clearly motivated by the crowd, and the segment was elevated as a result. The Viper is having a blast during this run, and it is evident every time he appears on screen. His chemistry with Riddle is as strong as any on either roster, and the impending match against the SmackDown Tag Champions at WrestleMania Backlash, wow, will be hella fun. Not should be, will be. Do not be surprised if the cheap shot dealt by the Usos to Riddle leads to a match later in the show. Well, because that's usually the direction WWE takes us in these situations, and that's exactly what it led to. That'll be in our main event. We'll address that at the end. But Riddle discussing the history of Worcester as he understood it via Snapple Lid was fun stuff. And Randy Orton saying, but you two are a-holes. And that's what he said of the Usos in that fired up promo. One of those that's not PG moments. But, oh my goodness. I mean, they planted the seeds Monday night on Raw in Detroit and tonight on SmackDown in Worcester. Oh. Worcester, you may have gotten the match announcement, but we're getting the match. Whoa. I mean, when you think we're getting WrestleMania Backlash. We're thinking, oh God, this is going to be, your average run of the mill B level pay-per-view show. Oh no. There are 4 matches announced, but 3 of these 4 matches all have show stealer potential. The only one that we have doubts about is the one with Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville for the Raw Women's Championship. But you never know. That could come out of nowhere and be a sleeper fight. You don't know. But you got Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey in the I Quit match for the Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins in a rematch of what was arguably the best match of either night of WrestleMania 38. They stole the dang show. And now you're adding this tag team championship unification bout with RK Bro and the Usos to that mix. Wow. I mean, gentlemen, we've already witnessed history before. We were there the night that Stephanie McMahon announced the creation of the Women's Royal Rumble. We were there for that. We were there when Roman announced he had leukemia and had to relinquish the Universal Championship. And, we've talked about it. We talked about how WWE loves to roll out the red carpet whenever it comes to Providence, because WWE has a lot of history with Providence, especially back in the day. A major house show hotspot. And this pay-per-view coming up is going to be the Grand Slam for me. MF and Bullock have already got the Grand Slam. They've been to house shows. They've been to Raw. They've been to SmackDown. And they've been to pay-per-view. But this is my first pay-per-view. And boy, howdy. You got 3 matches alone that are worth the price of admission. So, oh my goodness. Get us there now. That's all I'm saying. Get us there now. That's all I'm saying. 3 weeks from now cannot come fast enough. So we're all so excited about it. And wow. No doubt about it. This was the segment of the night. Hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Michael Bullock, I mean, we had a lot of fun with this during our SmackDown chat tonight. And then when we heard that this match was official, oh yeah. MF, we were bound, Bullock and I were freaking out almost like Pat McAfee. That's all there is to say on that. So not much more to say here. Segment of the night, Bullock. I mean, we had a lot of fun with this segment. If you thought we had fun with this segment tonight, just imagine how much fun we're gonna have when this happens at WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, it's gonna be a whole hell of a lot of fun with this when we get to WrestleMania Backlash. I mean, we were hoping that this match would take place at WrestleMania Backlash in our backyard, and boys, we're getting it. And I mean, this definitely makes this WrestleMania Backlash one that I think this is going to be a really good one. I mean, they always seem to do good when it comes to Providence. I mean, like you said, Florio, look at what we already have. You got Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title in an I Quit match. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And now you got this. I mean, the only match that we have some doubts about is the Raw Women's title match with Sonya Deville and Bianca Belair. But looks like a really good card right now, especially with this title unification match. But segment of the night, I mean, I'll tell you what, man. Randy Orton, I mean, we've seen him. I mean, Fletch, you've known Randy Orton for a long time. You're the biggest Randy Orton mark. I mean, we've seen him fired up many times before, but I don't think he was ever as fired up as he was tonight. I mean, dropping some bombs, basically one that'll make you say, that's not PG. And basically telling the Usos who the hell he is and who the Usos are dealing with. I mean, not just with his partner Riddle, but Orton himself. Because let me tell you something, Usos, you ain't dealing with just some regular person. You're dealing with Randy Orton, a man who's known as the Viper, the Legend Killer, a multiple-time world champion. I mean, so many great accomplishments. And if you think for 1 minute that Orton's going to lay down to you guys, I think you got another thing coming.
Yeah.
RK Bro is going to give you everything that they have. So if you think this is going to be a walk in the park, no. It ain't going to be no walk in the park. And you can tell that to your tribal chief. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, yeah. So nothing more to say. So we'll see how it plays out. So this was a great way to start it. So let's just move on. Next up we had was a one-on-one match, as it was the Nightmare, Rhea Ripley, going up against the Glow herself, Naomi. This was also confirmed, official, that on Monday night, this Monday Night Raw, Anthony, get ready. You got this one. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships will be on the line. The reigning champions, Naomi and Sasha Banks, the Boss and Glow connection, they will go up against Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley wins tonight in 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Anthony, the team on Raw gets the leg up. Do they go all the way and win the titles on Monday night? Well, we'll get that on we'll get to there on Ridiculously Raw. We won't answer. You don't have to answer that tonight. However, Rhea and Liv's got some momentum heading their way. It's 1-1 because remember, Sasha, I believe, beat Liv.
No,
if I remember,
Liv beat Sasha last week.
At least no, Liv beat Sasha. So no, yeah, Ripley and Liv both got victories over the reigning champions. Can they get the trifecta? Can they walk away with the belts on Monday night?
It would be a great story. I would love to see it. Of course, me being a Raw guy, I would love to see the women's tag team titles on a Raw.
It would go right back to Raw pretty fast, too.
Yeah, it would be a transitional reign for the Boston Glow. But do I want to see it? Absolutely. Do I think it will happen? No, I don't. I'll get to that reason. I'll get to my reasoning in a moment. But we were supposed to get that match this past Monday night in Detroit, but Rhea was put in some sort of protocol. Now they didn't say.
I think what it was I think it was a concussion protocol is what I've been told. I think it was a concussion protocol, but Rhea passed all because I think she got hurt at a house show, and that's why she got put into protocol.
I can understand that. So
yeah.
I'm just glad it wasn't Uncle COVID. That's all I'm saying. So.
Well, nowadays, if you do get Uncle COVID, as long as you, I think now they said if you test negative within the first 5 days, you're actually you're actually eligible to compete now. So if you do get COVID, you're only sitting out for 5 days now.
That's not bad at all compared to what it was when we started. But
yeah, back in the day, it was 14 days. Now I think if you get COVID, I think you're only subjected to a 5-day quarantine period.
Oh, not bad. But anywho, I got to give this 3 to 3 1/4. I mean, this was a good competitive match that saw the former repeatedly escape the grasp of her larger, stronger opponent before Ripley was able to catch her with Riptide for the win. These two teams have exhibited some strong in-ring chemistry since WrestleMania and in both tag team and singles bouts. And their championship clash on Monday in Buffalo is one fans have waited an extra week to witness. The punishing onslaught of Rhea Ripley and Naomi's elusiveness and athleticism mesh well. Hopefully that dynamic will rear its head on Raw, and the much-anticipated showdown lives up to lofty expectations. The only negative, however, it did not further the storyline in any measurable way. It was another instance of teams trading wins, 50-50 booking. We know how they are with this, with neither really gaining an advantage or advancing their feud. That adversely affects the effectiveness of a match that based solely on the match would have rated higher. But hell of a clothesline from Ripley. What about that clothesline before the commercial break? Woof. What a shot. And Bullock and I gushed over that during our SmackDown chat tonight. Naomi repeatedly countered out of the Riptide, making Ripley's eventual execution of the move that much more effective. And what else is there to say? So 3 to 3.25 stars. Yes, they had the momentum, but ultimately, I think Sasha and Naomi are going to retain the titles on Monday night. I think there's going to be a miscommunication or of some sort that's going to end up costing them the match. Rhea's going to be beyond pissed off about it, and she's going to take out those frustrations on Liv, heel turn, and then before you know it, I believe in my heart of hearts that she will be joining up with Edge and Damian Priest. So read into that what you will. Take it with a grain of salt. So that's just how I feel about it, but you never know, as they say. So we'll see. 3 3.25, one of the fights of the night. Michael Bullock, yes, the champions have the momentum right now. I mean, the challengers have momentum right now, but I would love to see them win the titles. I would. I mean, especially Liv, because this would be her first major championship moment. But I just don't see it happening. I think this is going to lead to the rumored heel turn of Rhea Ripley, and then the rumor of her joining up with Edge and Damian Priest.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the challengers have the advantage, but I don't think it's going to happen because I do too believe that this is where we're going to see Rhea Ripley turn heel, take her frustration down on Liv, and I think that's when we're going to see her join Edge and Damian Priest. So that's what I think. I mean, I would love to see it, especially for Liv Morgan, because I mean, she's been one of the most hardest workers right now, and one person that I really want to see get a championship. But unfortunately, what's the old saying, guys? When you're this close to accomplishing your goal, what's the old saying?
Isn't it
so close?
Oh, so close yet so far away.
Exactly. That's what it's going to be for Liv Morgan. It's going to be another case of so close, but yet so far. So, yeah. So, what did you give the match, Florio?
3 to 3.25.
Yeah, 3.25 is what I'm going to give it to. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Fletch, I mean, the challengers have the advantage, but I think the champions are going to retain, and I think that's when we're going to get the Rhea heel turn.
Yeah, I 3 is the rating I would give. So yeah, it was good. It was a very good match. It was very incredible what we're gonna see. So yeah, solid match. Nothing more to say. Unfortunately, we do have a cutout here on SmackDown Live. Very rare, but we did have one. Madcap Moss going up against Humberto, and Madcap won the match in 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Then we had an interesting situation. So, okay, earlier in the night, Drew Gulak was posing, or actually got a new gig. He's now backstage announcer, backstage interviewer for some of the guys. So he did an interview, wanted Adam Pearce's reaction, was interrupting Charlotte Flair in the process, and turned around and said, "You know what? You want yourself a real interview? Why don't you interview me tonight in the ring?" Well, Drew Gulak interviewed Charlotte Flair, and let's just say Charlotte got more than what she bargained for with Drew Gulak. Unfortunately for Drew, you pissed off the queen. And when normally you anger the queen in the old terms of of what was the old Alice in Wonderland. Normally it would be off with your head, but tonight it was off with your legs. Figure 8 to poor Drew Gulak. Oh, Michael Bullock. I mean, I enjoyed his interview, and he was throwing the hard-hitting questions. That would be something that you would do. That would be something Anthony Florio would do. That was something that I would do as an interviewer. But getting slapped into the figure 8, oh no, Drew, no.
Well, how would you feel, Fletch, if you were asked to interview the Queen Charlotte Flair?
You're gonna have to make it short, sweet, and make sure you mind your P's and T's on that one, your P's and Q's. And Drew went there. He asked the hard hitting questions, and the thing is, those questions that he threw, I'll actually admit this. Those would have been the same questions I would have thrown at Charlotte Flair. So for me, Drew did an amazing job.
I agree, but Charlotte, on the other hand, Fletch, I think she basically gave him an F. Yeah,
Pretty much.
So
yeah.
And there's another phrase, Fletch. Choose your words wisely with the Queen, because it doesn't take much to piss off the Queen. And Drew Gulak, I mean, he was being a professional, but one question, and yeah, it did not end well for Drew Gulak getting put in the figure 8. And basically, this was also her sending a message to the Rowdy One. So we'll wait and see how it goes. So so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, there was a time I would want to be an interview. If anybody asked me to interview the Queen after what I saw tonight, I would basically say, no, thank you.
Yeah. It's a hard pass for me, but I will say this. I thought they did a really good job with it. I loved the questioning because he basically called her out. He basically called her out, refusing to take the match with Ronda Rousey at first. Were you afraid of Ronda Rousey? And then he brought up about WrestleMania. And yes, Charlotte did indeed tap out. She tapped out to I believe it was the arm bar, the Piper's Pit arm bar. And the next thing we know, the ref was not in any position. So I think what they did was perfect. I think it gave some real legit heat to Charlotte Flair. And for Drew Gulak, I honestly hope that they do actually keep him as an interviewer, because if he's going to be this kind of interviewer, I think they could do some really good things with Drew. I really enjoyed him in this role. I thought he did a very good job first night out. I think he did really well. So Anthony Florio, the supreme athlete, might have just now become the supreme interviewer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I mean, I know you boys wouldn't want to be in that Charlotte Flair figure 8, but you know me and my love affair with not just Charlotte but the Flair family. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't.
Oh, you would be crying with joy and happiness knowing you're getting caught in the figure 8.
If that was me in there tonight, I wouldn't. Yes, I would have sold it. I would have sold it because they would have told me to sell it. But when in the back of my mind, I would have been like, I'm for it, because you guys know how much I love Charlotte. And but well, this is not the first time we've seen her do this to a man. We all remember Raw referee Eddie Orango last year in the Thunderdome. Remember when she went to town on him? I mean, we all remember that. And I was going to throw in another adage to what Bullock was saying. Throw in a classic Jerry the King Lawler here. Keep your words soft and sweet, because you may have to eat them. And that's exactly what happened to Mr. Gulak here tonight. Second best segment here. Let me see. What do I have here? Yeah, we talked about Drew Gulak hosting the interview segment in the ring with Charlotte. That did little to drum up more excitement for the Queen's match, the I Quit match with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania Backlash, and plenty to devalue one of the most talented in-ring technicians in sports entertainment. And the Flair attack on Gulak, the figure eight, and the interviewer's humiliating scream of I quit failed to put the champion over as a threat to tap out anyone. Sure, Gulak has not been utilized consistently since his 2020 push with Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, but this one-off was a massively disappointing role for the Philadelphia native, who should be competing somewhere every week in hellish pro wrestling matches. Just how I feel, but he did fine in that interviewer role. I'll give you that, but that's just how I feel from a professional point here. McAfee's reaction to Gulak asking Flair about her tapping out at WrestleMania was priceless, and then Charlotte saying, "I am a submission master. I've been submitting opposition for over a decade." And yeah, but the highlight, without a doubt, was when Charlotte put the figure eight on Drew Gulak. And Mr. Gulak, a word of advice to you, sir. Keep your words soft and sweet, because if you don't, you're damn sure going to have to eat them, son. So you ate them tonight in a big way. So we'll see where it goes. So not much more to say here. Second best segment of the night. I will give it that. So let's and you know, MF, I would have gone ultra heel commentator mode on this. You know I would have. I mean,
you would have ate it up. You would have absolutely ate it up. You would have been like,
just like at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Remember our WrestleMania chat when during the Vinnie Mac and Pat McAfee match, and how much fun I had with that?
Oh yeah, I know you would have ate it up. You would have said like, "How dare he disrespect the Queen like this?" and the whole 9 yards. And then after,
when she attacked him and put him in the figure eight, I would have been like, "Good, anything he gets, he deserves."
Yeah, exactly. And then I would have been flipping out on you, saying, "What do you mean?
What right do you have?"
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, and can you imagine what those other reporters that like Caleb Braxton or what's the name of that?
Megan Moran.
Megan Moran,
yeah.
who just, I think she debuted tonight. I never seen her before.
No, she's been around. She's been around for a while.
But could you imagine what they must have been thinking after seeing what Charlotte did? I'm sure they're probably sitting there like, yeah, we're going to have to be very careful.
We better choose our word. We better keep our words soft and sweet, because we'll have to eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. All right, guys. So we're going to move right on along here. Next up we had was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 2 minutes and 39 seconds via countout. We're not going to talk about that. So we're going to move right on along. Next up we had was Ricochet putting the Intercontinental title on the line against Jinder Mahal. Ricochet, half man, half amazing, with a beautiful shooting star press, wins the match in 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Okay. I'm a little disappointed here. And the thing is that I'm not mad at Ricochet. He looked amazing in the match, and he did incredible. But A, they gave him too short of a time. B, Jinder Mahal? Is that the best you can do, SmackDown? To give Ricochet a rub? I'm sorry, man. You devalued him. And the thing is that this guy is amazing. Did you see that freaking shooting star press? That was classic. That was amazing. That was picture perfect.
Like a Billy Kidman.
Better than Kidman. He had the height. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was very annoyed, to say the very least. It was fine. I really got nothing more to say. So, I mean, this was about maybe 2 stars, and that's just because of Ricochet's performance more than anything else. I mean, you can slap criticisms up and down this match, length of the match, opponent for the match. I mean, was this even worthy of an Intercontinental title fight? No, on that. So I don't know what to say. Florio, go before I go Cerebral Viper.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal. Yeah. Okay. 1.5 to 2 for this. There was really no reason to hype Ricochet versus Mahal, after all, as the one and only road to victory with a lightning quick win over the modern day Maharaja. Despite the fact that Ricochet's latest title defense only lasted a handful of minutes and nothing about the match suggested Mahal can look forward to an expanded role on Friday nights, not everything about the segment disappointed. The high-flying babyface is still early in his run as IC champ, and showcase matches like this which help him reestablish credibility with an audience who spent 2 years watching him lose are key. And this was one of those matches and will only help Ricochet in the long run, as long as WWE Creative can resist the urge to switch the title or redirect its focus elsewhere. And that's really all there is to say on that. So a 1.5 to 2 star effort for me, way too short. And it definitely devalued the prestige of the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. This did not feel like it at all. This felt like some house show quality bout, to be honest with you, or a dark match, for goodness sakes. But at least Ricochet got the win. That was the right thing to do, obviously, and that's all there is to it. I mean, you said it, MF, half man, half amazing, and you're putting him in a match against this no talent, against someone who I've never been high on. In Jinder Mahal, as Kurt Angle once famously called him. That's how I refer to him. So he's an enhancement talent. What else is there to say? Oh, once and always a forever enhancement talent. One of the worst WWE champions in history. I could go as far as to call him the worst WWE champion of all time. So that's really all I can say about it. 1.5 to 2. And Bullock, I mean, if you're gonna have Ricochet defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, that's fine, but can we at least? I know it's not that big of a deal, and MF knows where I'm going with this because this is a great movie quote here. But I know it's a bit part, but can we at least get Ricochet someone better than this? I mean, I know it's not hard, but come on now.
Oh yeah, he deserves someone way better than this. I mean, he deserves a deserving challenger, and this is the best you got. I mean, really? No. That's just absolutely flagrant. Absolutely. Sorry, to me, it's out of bounds as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this had no. I mean, Ricochet to me. I mean, like you said, he deserves way better than this. I mean. Oh man, sometimes WWE, you do stuff that really, really gets under my skin. And this was another prime example of it. So,
I mean, did we really have to put up with this? I mean, can't we get a better challenger? I know it's a small part, but I think we can do better than this.
Yeah, and the thing is that, I mean, you could have picked anybody. Ridge Holland, Sheamus. You know what? I would even said Butch. I would have given him an opportunity at the title. I mean, there is enough guys on that SmackDown roster that is worthy of an opportunity at a title match. And this is the guy you give it to. I'm sorry. I got a bone to pick tonight with WWE with this. But then again, they've been doing this to us for the last how many years now? So I mean,
way too many for me to count.
Yeah. So there's really nothing more to add. We got the main event.
Yeah, exactly, Fletch. And one more thing, they literally screwed the pooch on this one.
All right. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but all right, whatever. Main event: Riddle versus Jimmy Uso. Riddle wins the match in 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Anthony Florio, it's yours. But I gotta say it, man. That RKO by Riddle, man, that even had Orton popping like a crazy man tonight. He basically pulled a me on that one.
Now, would you consider this better than the one he did at WrestleMania, or was the Mania one still better?
Oh, that's a good debate. I kind of got to feel like the one in Mania was better because he hopped
Agreed.
up on the top rope and then did the RKO on Montez Ford. This one was very reminiscent of 31 when Orton caught Seth Rollins in midair and off a failed curb stomp.
This was another 3 to 3.25 star match. RK Bro sent a message loudly and clearly to the Usos by way of Riddle's win over Jimmy in tonight's main event. Strong back and forth match of high quality. It really escalated and elevated late with Riddle's comeback and Orton's attack on Jay at ringside. The Viper drove the right-hand man onto the commentary table, then watched as the original Bro countered a pop-up Samoan drop into the RKO for the win. On a night where Roman Reigns was nowhere to be found, Orton and Riddle's presence on the show was absolutely and unequivocally important. And they did not disappoint, sending the fans home satisfied and setting up the high-stakes, main event-worthy showdown with the Usos for the Unified Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania Backlash, which, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting that. That's I still can't get over that. That's awesome. Uso taunted Orton by driving Riddle into the steel steps and a nice bit of heel work from the SmackDown Tag Champ. Orton was on fire throughout, very animated on the outside while watching the ebbs and flows of his tag team partner's performance. Orton's side suplex on the commentary table is vicious every time, regardless of whether said table actually breaks. Viper jumping in the ring, fired up before referee Ryan Tran counted 3 was great and reflecting of the frenetic energy the third generation star brought to the show from start to finish. He may not be a SmackDown guy like he once was, MF, because he was once upon a time one of your top guys on SmackDown, but he's a Raw guy now, and just like with Brock Lesnar, and I talked about this with Bullock during our SmackDown chat, MF, and you're hearing this for the first time. I told Bullock that Randy Orton, just like with Brock Lesnar, had a reputation of being hated and, being, whatever. But we saw how ridiculously over Brock Lesnar ended up getting out of nowhere. But look at Randy Orton. I mean, Orton may be the most over he's ever been, just like with Brock Lesnar before he lost to Roman at Mania here.
Yeah, Cowboy Brock. The Cowboy Brock gimmick absolutely worked. And I think what also worked for Brock is because he was on his own. He didn't have Paul Heyman. So He was doing his own promos. He was doing his own things. And I think that's why the fans loved Brock, is because Brock was being authentic. He was being himself. Randy Orton is the same way. He's never changed.
He's the most over he's ever been right now. That's all there is to say on that. So just like when Cowboy Brock was the most over Brock Lesnar ever got, regardless of any run of his career. And this, what Randy Orton is doing now, and especially the performance he put in tonight, even though he didn't wrestle. You said it, MF. Randy Orton was the MVP of this show tonight, and he's not even a SmackDown talent. Go figure. So, and him and Riddle being on the show tonight definitely made up for the Tribal Chief not being there. It was very surprising not to see him, but I got a feeling we might see him next week in Albany. So, and maybe we'll see some more RK Bro on SmackDown. Hey, I know MF wouldn't mind it, especially because he'll get to see his boy again. So. And I know it had to be driving MF nuts, because at the same time, I know MF in the back of his mind was thinking, where was this Randy Orton when you were on SmackDown, man? Come on. But hey, and what a night for Raw. I mean, not one, but 2 Raw superstars win on SmackDown tonight. First, it was Rhea Ripley beating Naomi, and now Riddle taking care of Jimmy Uso. It may have been a SmackDown show, but it was a banner night for Team Red. So definitely some momentum going in, but my early projection is I think the Usos are going to walk out with it. So, and make the Bloodline the most dominant stable in professional wrestling history. So another 3 to 3.25. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Your thoughts on the main event and that RKO by Riddle? Wow.
Yeah, that was sick. That was a sick RKO by Riddle. So yeah, 3.25. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night. I mean, it definitely builds some momentum for RK Bro going into their tag team title unification match at WrestleMania Backlash. And yeah, I also believe that I think in the end, I think the Usos are going to walk out with both belts and make the Bloodline the most dominant faction in professional wrestling. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, overall thoughts time.
All right, I believe it goes to Anthony Florio. So Anthony, you lead off on the overall thought of SmackDown Live.
Not as good as Rampage, if I'm going to be honest with you. But it was a solid effort, though. I will give this. I'll give it a 6.5 to 7. 6.5 to 7 for me. We and go figure, the two matches where the Raw talents went over were the two fights of the night, with Rhea Ripley beating Naomi and Riddle beating Uso, and then throw in that great opening segment with RK Bro and the Usos, and of course that solid segment with Charlotte Flair and Drew Gulak, and more storyline progression. So that's really all I can say on that. So I would have to give this about a 6.5 to 7 for the effort here tonight, and nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this match? And I thought it was 6.5 to 7. What says you?
Yeah, I say 6.5 to 7 as well. I mean, you did have some good moments here. I mean, obviously the main event being the fight of the night. I mean, you had some other good matches, but you also had some cutouts as well. But yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens next week. So Fletch, let's put a bow on this with your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll go about 7. I thought they did all right. Like you said, it wasn't the perfect show, but it could have been a lot more better. All in all, it was an okay night for SmackDown Live. AEW definitely wiped the floor with them, and the one match that wiped the whole thing was the Hangman versus Adam Cole fight. The Texas Death Match for the AEW World Title. That was by far the best fight of the evening. There's no debate about it, and upward and onward they go. So we're done for the night. So special Sunday edition of the Sports World. That's right, TXN Sports World Sunday. I'm probably gonna say 10 o'clock. I'm gonna try to go for 10 o'clock. That's what we're gonna do for now. So what we're gonna do is we're doing the Celtics versus the Nets first, and then we'll have the recap of the Bulls versus the Bucks game ones of the Eastern Conference first round as the playoffs begins tomorrow. Oh, by the way, just to let you guys know, Atlanta has advanced. They will play the top seed, who is, I believe it went to
Miami.
So they play that. And right now, as it stands, the Pelicans are up big on the LA Clippers, 41-29. And we're not even halfway through the second quarter. So the winner of that game will play Phoenix, or will have the tough task to take on the Phoenix Suns in the first round. And all the playoff games starts tomorrow. 4 games, and then there'll be another 4 on Sunday. A quadruple hitter, guys. Enjoy the weekend of that. And of course, because this is Easter weekend, we hope you guys have a safe and nice Easter. And for all you kiddies out there, we hope the Easter Bunny is really good to you. You hope you get a lot of goodies and a little candy. I know, eat in moderation. Don't go all at once. You don't want the tummy ache. But we hope you guys have a blast and enjoy it with the family and everything else. And until then, we will see you guys on Sunday night for a very special edition of TXN Sports World, as we will have the Celtic chat and the Bulls Corner for the first time in a long time as the NBA playoffs begins. Until then, for Michael Bullock, for Anthony Floyo, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on